Hi, I'm Ryan Oman.
And I'm Nicole Oman.
And together we are
the Empowering
Omens with the Golden Collective.
And today is Thankful Thursday, where we center around the heart chakra.
Yes, anahata or unstruck. And yet again, we are facing a Thursday where we are very struck. So the irony of the unstruck term for this particular chakra is not lost on me.
Well, it is definitely a struck day because we have the thunderbolts.
And couldn't be more struck than this. Struck by frickin' lightning. That's where we're at, guys. Can't make this shit up.
So as we get struck, what we want to understand is the heart is cracking open. And what I think and I believe, Kalima Shakti Day.
Kalima Shakti Day. Right.
So what I really believe the reason why it's called unstruck is even though we feel struck on the outside, there is a purity and a wholeness to the heart and to the soul, and that it can never be impure. That we are literally cracking open shells that are around the heart, not the heart itself. And the grief that we feel when we have a heartbreak is the grief of our own expectations and the resistance to what is.
Yeah, or what is to come. Because this card, the Thunderbolt card, for those of you who are familiar with the traditional arcana of the Tarot deck, this is actually the Tower. And the Tower itself represents a destruction of the old structure. It is literally you holding on to the old and the universe or God coming down and saying, that's enough. It's enough.
Not working anymore.
It's not working anymore. But the good news is that once you've gone through that death process, there is hope, right? The other card we pulled today is Harmony. And if you notice that these dolphins of energy are coming out of this person's heart. So there is hope, even though things seem like they're crashing down around you and that they'll never be the same again. And the truth is they won't. They won't be the same again because they're not supposed to be. That's the essence of growth, the essence of change. There is a destructive element. I am wearing a shirt that says, I heart Kali Ma. And if you guys aren't familiar with Kali, this is the goddess that we named our daughter after. Kali is essentially the goddess of the tower. She is the one who strikes away anything that no longer serves. And that can be a very, very painful process, especially when it's people or jobs or things that you depend on. When those things are taken away from you, there's this huge feeling of loss involved. And that feeling of loss is real. You have to honor that. It is painful and it hurts because you've been holding on to it. It's a part of you. It's attached. And once it's been
something
taken
you
away,
care about.
Yeah, deeply, not just care about, but depend on. It is part of who you are.
Identity, yeah.
But once it's gone, it creates a void. And that void is where growth really happens. That void is where grace, which is another one of the dictating powers of the heart chakra, is allowed to come in and fill it with something better. You have to let go of the old. That's the only way to grow. It's the only way to change. It's the only way to become the person you're trying to be. People give a lot of lip service to this idea of change and this idea of evolution, but they don't realize how fucking painful it is. It hurts. I always go back to, because I'm a personal trainer and I spend a lot of time in the gym, I always go back to the gym process. Working out is painful. It hurts to go to the gym. That's why so many people avoid it. They want to take a pill, or they want to do the new diet fad, or they want to plug a machine to their stomach to give them abs. That's fucking ridiculous. You have to go through the pain and the suffering of change. It is just how it works. And if you're not into it, if you're not able to do it, if you're not able to get uncomfortable, you will not experience the change that you're looking for. And if you are willing to go through it, know that you're going to experience pain, and that's part of it. And we, Nikki and I have talked about this a lot together and with other people, is that we live in a society that's built around pain avoidance. We avoid pain like the plague. We think it's the devil, and it's not. It's a teacher. It is one of the best teachers. You learn more from pain and from failure than you ever will from success and pleasure. And guaranteed.
That goes all the way back to we'd rather not get sick to build our immune system. We're looking for the back door, but if we really saw sickness and we really saw like a cold or a flu, and we took care of ourselves and nurtured ourselves and gave ourselves good food and water and good, nice care, we would get healthy. And what they thought of in India.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just told me this story in India. Go ahead.
And in India, they believe that the mumps and the measles are a gift from Kali Ma because they believe it's a gift from Kali Ma because they believe in karma, they believe in reincarnation. So if the soul and the body is strong enough to handle the mumps and the measles, it's a rite of passage that child will thrive and survive on the planet. And if they go, they mourn the child, but they also know that the child will, or the soul will come back, learning a lesson to grow their body. Now that's a really weird energy to think about death, but it's actually healthy.
It's really hard because we have a Western way of looking at things, and the Eastern way of looking at things is very different from ours. And we're not saying that it's the right way. We're saying it's another way.
It's an interesting perspective.
And it gives you a different perspective exactly on a way to look at life and death, because the fact of the matter is there is no life without death.
And we right now are going through
we just watched The Lion King with our daughter, and it's all about the circle of life, right? The lion eats the gazelle, and then the lion dies, and the grass that turns into the dirt eats the grass, the gazelle eats the grass, the lion eats the gazelle. It is a circle of life. There is no life without death. You have to experience death.
We have a lot of death energy. We have the Kali Ma and this thunderbolt. And what we're trying to say is if you're going through an internal death, or you're going through external death, or whatever that might be, you're going through a grieving process. It might be death of relationship. It might be a death of a tribe, a job, a friendship, an ego, an identity.
Death of the self.
And it might be even
more personal than that.
It might even be maybe even physical. Maybe you know someone who is dying that you're very close to. And honestly, this is the breaking open for new life to come through. This is the breaking open to break open your soul. When I was 11 years old, I witnessed my grandmother get in a car accident. I was in the car behind them, and my grandmother passed away in that car accident. And that could be a massive traumatic experience for a child. But what that experience showed me, because I was so young and I was there, I got to see, I would dream about her coming to me. She would give me all kinds of signs to show me she was still there. And at 11 years old, I had a new relationship to death because I went through that process, and I honor the death process, even though it's still filled with struggle and hardship and uncertainty. My grandmother's passing, and it's a long story, I have to say it, there was a lot of blessing around it. There was a lot of beauty. There was a lot of growth. There was a lot of empowerment.
Your mother wouldn't have left your father if that didn't happen.
My mom was in a domestic violent relationship, and if my grandmother didn't pass away, my mom wouldn't have gone into new life, and I would have went into teenagehood with the father who became abusive to my brother when he hit teenagehood. So because my grandmother died, she might have relieved me from getting physically abused really bad. So we have to look at when things are happening, when things are shattering, they're bringing us into more harmony and alignment with what we are truly, who we truly are, and what we truly desire. What these heartbreaks might cause us is really to open our heart and get into that vulnerable state so we can truly live.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we're going to take all of this death and rebirth energy into our meditation today. So for those of you who are watching us on Instagram, please go over to YouTube if you want to follow our guided meditation with the singing bowl. And those of you who are on YouTube, here we go. So as we get into our meditation today, we're going to have to deal with some death. And that's okay. We'll be there with you. We'll be experiencing the death cycle with you. And then we'll be experiencing the rebirth as well. So every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. So let's imagine we're inhaling, bringing in that new life, exhaling, allowing things to die. Inhaling, bringing in the new life,
honoring life,
exhaling, allowing
honoring
things
death.
to die. So we're going to breathe in life and exhale death and allow the balance of that circle of life to be within our circulatory system, which is dictated by the heart chakra. The heart chakra, again, is not just about the heart, it's also about the lungs and breathing, circulation, life, balance, and apparently death and rebirth. So, here we go, guys. We're in this together. For our lives and all the experiences and opportunities that come to us. And we're also grateful and we honor the cycles of death, the release, the letting go, the unfoldment, and even the uncertainty. Both are needed, both are very important to our process. As we honor both in harmony and balance, as we let go, we become more of ourselves, closer to our truth, and deeper in our hearts. Thank you for this wisdom. Thank you for this opportunity. And thank you for this great unfoldment. It is done. It is done. It is done. It is done. The vulnerability that it all comes in. You're doing great, you guys. You're doing great, Ryan. You're doing great, Nick. We're doing great. And there's a lot of that going on in the planet right now. Death of old structure, death of old ideals, death of being ignorant to what's going on in the world right now. It's a really important time. And you can either step in greater, deeper into your heart, or you can put your hand, your fingers in your ears and your head in the sand and allow the tower to do its thing anyway. It's going to do it anyway. Whether you want it to or not. You can fight it, but I assure you it doesn't make it go any better.
No.
It's better to embrace it. It's better to go with it and know that it's all for the greater good, whatever that may be.
Yes.
So thanks for following us, guys. Thanks for watching our videos. Thanks for sharing. We're going to, wrap up this last week of our chakras, and then we're going to take a pause and regroup, and we'll be back. So don't leave us for good, but know that we've got to wrap things up this week, and we appreciate you going on this journey with us.
Yeah, and you can subscribe. We will be back. We'll be doing some, relationship stuff. Ryan's still going to be doing the bowls. We're going to figure that out and see really what wants to birth through us, as this is our own little ending and a new beginning, right?
Try not to think too far ahead.
Exactly. You want to make God laugh today?
Make plans.
Yeah.
He's laughing at me a lot.
Oh, yes. Both of us. All right, everyone. We will see you again tomorrow for Fearless Friday. Man, it's been a lot of fearlessness. All right, everyone. See you tomorrow. Namaste.